Hello and welcome to This Week in Science, a show where we cover some of the top science stories from the past week. The first story for this week comes from the University of Alberta, where a group of researchers have welded together two neurons using lasers. They achieved this by using ultra-short pulses of lasers directed at the contact site of two neurons. After 15 milliseconds, the neurons formed a very strong bond between each other, something that would have taken hours to occur through a natural process. This new technique of creating neurons on demand has opened up the door on a whole new possibility and variety of experiments that researchers hope will teach them more about how neurons work and lead to future discoveries of how to treat neural diseases. If you've ever wanted to work out the structure of a complex molecule to atomic precision, you're in luck. A group of scientists at the Center for Free Electron Laser Science has developed a new technique in crystallography to do just that. In crystallography, X-rays are used to determine the structure and positioning of molecules that make up the crystal lattice. In conventional crystallography, a pure and very ordered crystal is used to study the properties. But a new technique has been developed in which you want to use a crystal which has impurities in it, molecules which aren't aligned to the crystal lattice. It turns out this gives you much more information on the molecules which make up the crystal than what a perfectly ordered crystal would. With this technique, they are able to probe the atomic configuration of molecules which make up these larger crystal lattices. With this technique, they'll be able to understand the very complex structures of molecules which are important to medicine, in the hopes that one day we may be able to use this research to create custom-made drugs for any given disease. The next story for this week comes from CERN, where they have recreated conditions that would have been present near the beginning of the universe. Using the Large Hadron Collider, scientists have smashed together lead atoms to create a rugby ball-shaped region, which is filled with the plasma that would have been present at the beginning of the universe. This plasma is made out of fundamental particles called quarks and gluons, and surprisingly they found that it behaved just like a liquid. This result will help us understand how quarks and gluons behave on a fundamental level, both for particle physics and for cosmology, when we try and understand how the universe looked and behaved a few moments after the Big Bang, where this quark-gluon fluid flowed through the universe. The final story for this week is, of course, the groundbreaking announcement that gravitational waves have been detected for the first time. Predicted 100 years ago as a consequence of general relativity, gravitational waves were thought to be produced by extreme events in the universe, such as the collision of two black holes or two neutron stars. Using a very precise interferometer, the LIGO group was able to detect distortions in space-time which are caused by gravitational waves. Through their analysis, they determined that the gravitational waves were produced by the collision of two black holes about 30 times the mass of the Sun. This collision occurred 1.3 billion light-years away, somewhere in the southern hemisphere, where in a fraction of a second the energy equivalent to 3 times the mass of the Sun was converted into gravitational waves. What's more astonishing is that in those moments, the peak power output of this collision was 50 times more than all of the stars in the observable universe. So this was a very extreme and energetic event. This detection is a fantastic confirmation for general relativity, and opens up the exciting new possibilities where in the future we may not just be studying the universe through light, but also through gravity. Those are some of the top science stories from the past week. If you want to learn any more about any one of those stories, check out links in the description for some more details. If you like this video, please do leave a like, and come back next week to find out what happened this week in science.